Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome to the second episode of the How to Fly the A350 series. It's actually going to be the first episode for all my non-members out there, and the second episode for all my members out there, because the first episode of this series, the cockpit preparation and FMC setup portion, is a members only exclusive video, and as I was telling them, that is the most important video of this whole series, because a good flight comes from a good pre-flight and a good FMC setup. So that's really the foundation of everything. If you guys are interested, you can become a member for as little as $1.99 a month, and we've got a lot of cool things coming up. This is a new program on the channel, but there will be a lot more coming in the future, and I'm definitely open to suggestions of whatever you guys would like to see. So again, guys, if you want to see the true first episode of this series, you go ahead and become a member and give that a watch. Other than that, guys, enjoy the series. Alright everybody, welcome back to episode 2 of the How to Fly the A350 series. We're here on the ground in Atlanta getting ready to push back. GSX is just kind of finishing up. We just got the bypass pin inserted, and they are hooking up the tug now. The APU has just been started, and we're getting ready to rock and roll. So while they do their stuff down here, we're going to jump back inside the flight deck and do a couple things. So we're going to put the beacon light on so everybody knows we're about to get rolling. This would be a good point to call for pushback and start up if you're on VATSIM, by the way. So you're going to be Delta 1037. We're at gate whatever here in Atlanta, looking for push and start. And hopefully they'd give you that. We can quick edit this. Actually, before we do this, we're going to take a look at our departure, or our taxi chart real quick. So we're going to go nose to the right. So we're going to need to go like this, essentially facing this way, so that we can come out on Juliet there. So we're going to go nose to the right, tail left.
Release parking brakes, please.
And we will release parking brakes because they just get really annoying, and we'll do the taxi briefing
all engines clear.
once we get the engine started. So let's go ahead and flip that to start. Actually, is there a checklist for that? Is there a before start checklist? I always forget. Checklist menu. Before start. Let's run the before start checklist first here. Gear pins and covers. I mean, they have the gear pin in, so, but it has to be that way. So fuel quantity, we are good to go there. We have 31.7, which is exactly what we're looking for. Takeoff data set. Baro ref is set. Doors are closed. Parking brake released. That is the before start checklist complete. So now we can go ahead and start up engine number 1. We have our bleed pressure. Let's turn engine number 1. This lady's got a death wish. Beautiful Trent XWB engines. Got engine 1, a veil light. Let's turn 2. We'll start that one from inside. Now we'll go outside.
Set parking brakes.
Do that quick so we can get back outside.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
All right, that sounds like a good engine number 2 start to me.
Unlocking gear.
We'll just wait for that avail light. There it is. We'll go ahead and arm the ground spoilers. Maybe. There we go. Put that to ignition. We'll go flaps 1 once we get to the engine or the wing view. Auto brake armed, or RTO I should say. APU can come off, and let's go ahead and put out flaps 1.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear, right is clear.
Alright, flaps 1 is set. Now let's move into a couple briefings. So first of all here, quick taxi for runway 27 right here. We're just going to expect, again, this would be a good time to call for taxi on VATSIM or whatever. We're going to expect Juliet Lima to Lima Alpha for runway 27 right. So we'll expect that. On the departure, standard left seat departure, rotating at 100 and, what do we say there? 148 knots. You go over your emergency briefings and everything like that as well, but obviously we're not going to have any emergencies today because it's a flight sim. C Park at we no turns below 57 or 1527. Sorry, no turns below 1527. Once we do that, then we can make our turn direct to C Park. MPass got to stay below 250 knots till Zealand, or at or below 250 knots until Zealand. After that, if we're above 10,000, we'll accelerate to our climb speed. Head out. Oh, that's a good thing that I did forget, actually, in the last one here. Top altitude on the SID is 10,000 feet, so we'll go ahead over here and set 10,000. Something that should have been done before, but that's all right. So other than that, it's departure briefing completed, and then we can go into the after start checklist here. It should I'll probably go to the ATC thing. Oh, no, it didn't. After start checklist, anti-ice. Not required. Other than that stuff, everything is done there. After our checklist complete. And then the checklist menu before takeoff checklist. Flight controls will check on the roll. Instruments are checked and set. Briefing is complete. V1, VR, V2 is all good to go. It's all set. Squawk code we're going to set here in just a second. Takeoff runway confirm 7 right. We'll just check the flight controls now. Cabin crew, we'll advise them. And packs we're going to stay on. That is the before takeoff checklist complete. We're going to go ahead to the serve page, which is where you'd set up your transponder stuff. We're going to squawk 2000, go on, or auto rather, and then TARA. So all that stuff is good there. And then we'll go back to FMS2. Nope, that's not what we wanted. FMS2 and to the perf page after that. Okay. Just like that, we are ready for taxi. This would be a good time, like I said, to call ground. Ground Delta 1037 ready for taxi coming out of Juliet. And it's a taxi via Juliet and Lima Alpha to runway 27 right. So we'd go ahead and do that. Flip the parking brake off, and here we go. ECAM looks good. The only thing here is the takeoff config test, which you have to hold down for a couple seconds here in this airplane. Takeoff config is green, so we are all good there. And just like that, we are rolling here in the A350 from Inibuilds. We can test our flight controls here while we go. Whoa, where'd that guy come from? I guess we'll just let him go. We gotta test our flight controls anyway, so we'll go full up, neutral, pull down, neutral, full left, full right, and full right rudder, full left rudder. Here we go. And what's cool is it actually comes up down here once you start moving the right here is where I'm looking. When you start moving the flight controls, it'll come up, it'll bring this screen up, and then the rudder, but like I said, we don't have to move that because we're taxiing. Takeoff checklist is officially complete. What you would do, something that we use in the real world is whenever you're doing something like that and you're reading through a checklist and you want to leave something for later, you can do that. You just say to go. So basically what you'd say there is, like reading that checklist, you'd say flight control check to go, and then you do it on the roll. And now technically that would mean that the checklist wouldn't be complete until you do it, but that's how you know, hey, I want to save that for later. Save it for later. Still not good at these 90-degree turns in this thing, but luckily we've only got 2 more of those to go here, so The radio stack is pretty easy, basically. I mean, if you're on VATSIM and there's no controller, you just have 22.8 plugged in, you can hit that in there and that selects it in the standby. Move it over to the active, move it back to standby. Oh wait, my bad, I meant 1228. There we go. Move it back and forth with that. Oh, you have to turn the radio on too, by the way. So whenever you are, that's VHF2. So this is, basically, this is talking, this is listening. So whenever you are logging on to VATSIM for the first time in this thing, make sure that your radios are actually on. So you can tune your radio, but then also turn them on. This is listening to COM 2, this is listening to COM 1, this is talking on COM 1. So make sure that you have your radios actually on. Alright, so you can zoom this in as well and get like an actual, now it'll probably make you lag a little bit here, but you can actually get an airport map. You can see my frames are taking a hit because of it, but it is a pretty cool feature. And there it is, and then you can just zoom it in nice and tight for you. There's our map of the airport. Final looks clear, so we are going to hopefully not run into another CRJ. I just remember that actually happened here once. I don't know, I think it was in Atlanta, so hopefully that's not going to happen again. Our takeoff checklist is complete. We'll set that on 10 miles. We'll get our landing lights on, taxi lights on, strobe lights on, and all of our other lights are on. Let's just verify that our checklist is in fact complete. Checklist menu, before takeoff checklist, checklist complete. So we are good to go there. So let's do it. Again, at this point, ground would probably hand you off to tower. Tower would say Delta 1037, clear for takeoff, runway 27 right, fly the runway heading, or something like that. They'd give you some sort of instruction. So we'll try our best to listen to the departure. What did it say? Fly heading of 275 on departure. So once we get off the runway, we'll basically just pull the, oh, my bad. Gotta keep some momentum here. We'll basically pull the heading mode. Trying to get this line up right. A little long that time. Alright, let's do it, guys. Spool them up 50. And set takeoff power. My throttles are really weird. All that flashing is the throttles. That's not. Okay, Manflex 67 SRS runway. Auto thrust is blue. Coming through 100 knots.
V1.
Hands off the throttles and rotate. And I've got a positive rate. Gears coming up. There's our 1,500 feet. We can go ahead and proceed direct to Sea Park now, which is already set for us, so no reason to really do anything different than what we're doing right now. Let's go outside. Alright, lever climb. That's just the outer marker sounds you hear in the background. And we're above our flap speed. Let's go flaps up. Let's say towers being nice today, they gave us a little shortcut. Let's say they give us direct to Zealand. So we can just click on that, go from present position direct to, it'll draw our little line, insert direct to. And we just start a gentle little roll to the right. I don't know if I said tower, I meant departure. If departure's feeling nice, they'd give you that. Still accelerating to our 250 knots as well. As we roll out of this turn, we can flick the autopilot on and let it handle the rest of things. Quick after takeoff checklist. Spoilers are disarmed, norm on the ignition, flaps are up, gears up, and the lights are set exactly how we need it. Let's say they gave us climb maintain, they'd give you something else. They wouldn't give you all the way up to your cruising altitude from here, but let's say they did today. Climb maintain flight level 410, and we'll go ahead with open climb and cruise altitude. You can see there. If you wanted to climb quicker, climb louder, you could basically come down here, and we'll do it today. Why not? Let's go to climb. And you can see the engines want to start spooling up here more. It basically gets rid of the D rate and just kind of climbs at a higher thrust setting is all that does. Coming through 8,500. Really not a whole lot else to do here. Just make sure we stay at 250 knots by Zealand. If you really wanted to, you could even pull this and make sure you don't accelerate over that, but we can just give it back to the airplane because it knows. We see that there, that it obviously knows where we're heading, what we're doing. So there's Zealand, and we're already through 10,000. So we get our landing lights off. Oh, shoot, my landing light was off already. My bad. Strobes to auto, beacon on, nav can stay at 1, position light, or logo lights can come off. It's nice. And coming through 10,000 as well, we can get the seatbelt signs off. No smoking always stays on, and mobile signs can come off as well there. So, other than that, we're pretty much just climbing out. Now that we're through Zealand and through 10,000, we're going to accelerate to our climb speed today, 299 knots. And then in the cruise, we'll be looking at flight level 410 at 0.85 Mach. So that is pretty cool, pretty quick, this plane. And then you could also back up everything we just did with the climb checklist, after takeoff checklist as they call it here. Gears up, flap 0, and baro ref is set for now, and we will set that later once we get through our 18,000. We'll set it to standard. And let's see, we're not going to have a super long cruise phase today, only 300 miles to our top of descent. And it'll be another 100 miles till we get to our cruising altitude. So we'll only have about a 200-ish mile cruising phase today, but long enough to hang out. Flight attendants will get the drinks out and the peanuts. Ooh, Delta does this little Biscoff cookies or whatever they're called. Those are pretty good. Alright, we're through 18,000. We can go ahead and push in the 350, push it in for standard. And other than that, guys, just kind of monitoring things on our way up to cruise. Maybe start getting the window shades. I don't know what the heck that thing is any good for, but. And also, I'd probably like it if I was actually flying this thing in real life. But there's also this one, which you have to just spam click to get down. But I kind of hate it in the simulator, so I don't know. If you like it, use it, but I kind of hate it. And you have to do that every time you take it down, so that's is what it is, I guess. Alright, we reached our cruising altitude today, and that means that's going to do it for our departure segment of this video. The next one's going to be starting the descent and the arrival into Detroit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.